Happy Friday. Today is Friday, September 16th, 2022. Did you miss me? Haven't been on here in a few days because things are a little hectic now. And we're also hopefully transitioning so that students are going to be taking over this. So you'll see more of that. I've been doing this since March 23, 2020. And that's because that's the week that the earth stood still. It was... I began this in the days of early COVID when everything had shut down so that I could have a way to kind of keep in contact with, Wesley Center folks and still, like be giving them, like Bible study and stuff. And then just decided to keep with it and see how long it went. And actually, I'm kind of surprised at how long it did go. So as you know, like I've explained, this follows the daily lectionary readings that are tied to the Revised Common Lectionary. And so that's what we've been using. But as this year has taken off, thankfully, things are much more like a normal year than they have previously, which means it's getting harder and harder to maintain the DBR because I have a lot of other things doing it during the day. But I've got students that are going to be contributing. So you're going to see a change in the artwork that pops up for the daily Bible readings and also for these videos. Now, it was my plan this year to kind of follow this through to the end of this lectionary year, which would be coming up in November with Christ the King Sunday. And then just see what happened from there. But sound like we might, like I said, there might be students taking this over. So you may see me in and out here for the next few weeks. We're not sure. It's going to, transitions are awkward, and awkward transitions are awkwarder. So, but anyway, just to let you know what's going on, I hadn't just fallen off the face of the earth. It's a time of transition. So anyway, but today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 79, 1 through 9, Jeremiah 8, 1 through 13, Romans 8, 31 through 39, Psalm 113, this is the complementary text getting you ready for this Sunday, Ezekiel 22, 17 through 31, and then Romans 8, 31 through 39. I'm going to take a look at Ezekiel from those complementary texts and just talk about weird genres of videos that you see on social media. And I really hope you don't think you're watching one now, although you'd probably be justified in thinking that. Yeah, but there are really weird genres. I won't go into them, But one of the kind of just oddest ones, not just because it's like uncomfortable but I don't even know how I even came across it. But there's a whole genre of backyard smelting videos. Like there's like this whole weird YouTube community of people that do the smelting of metals in their backyard. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of cool. I have watched several of them because it's just intriguing. Basically because it's grown men playing with fire and like liquid metal. But they're just smelting, which leads to the question, Keith, what is smelting? I'm very glad you asked that. Smelting is the process of melting and refining metals. So you start with the ore, like not O-R-O-R-E, like the rock that, native rock that actually has like the metal you want in it, and you crush all that up and you put it in a big hot blast furnace and you get really, really hot until it liquefies. And then what happens, or you shred up the scraps of stuff. So like, recycling metals, you shred up all that scrap aluminum and you melt it up real hot, and then all that melts. And what happens is that the impurities rise up to the top and you skim off the dross, which leads to another question. What's dross? Which is a good question that you should ask that, because Ezekiel uses that word. He talks about the dross. So it's the impurities that they all float to the top. So if you've got, like iron ore and you heat all that up, the iron comes out of the rock and sinks to the bottom, and then all the stuff that's not iron pretty much floats on top, and that's not the stuff you want. You skim it off. If you're recycling a bunch of metals, there's going to be stuff in there that you don't want, and so that all floats to the top, and you skim that off and you get rid of it because it's all being forced out of the really pure metal that you want. So if you're like melting gold or silver, all the stuff that's not gold and silver, that is gonna, matter of fact, make it even like it's gonna make it less pure or weaker, that all kind of floats to the top. And you remove it because that's not the stuff you want. You just want to keep the gold and toss the slag. Slag's just another word for dross. And so that's what's going on here. God is using adversity to force the dross out of the people. He's trying to force that to the surface so that it can be gotten rid of, and so that like the thing he actually wants will remain. And that happens in the life of a faith community like Israel, like the church, but it also happens in our lives as people of faith. Sometimes we go through periods of extreme adversity, and we should probably pay attention to what floats up to the top and think about maybe that dross needs to be skimmed off our lives. So anyway, get to skimming. We'll see you on Monday, and get out, enjoy the weekend. Talk to you later. Boop.